seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
How we doing, everyone? Here we go. It's me. It's not Fabrizio Romano, but Marcel Sabitzer, as I've been told how to pronounce his name. Hopefully I got it right. Look, I questioned whether there would be a surprise signing in the video this morning. Yes, I'm a few minutes early, but it's a here we go. Marcel Sabitzer, we didn't expect it to come. We expected, as Manchester United fans over the last few years, we expected to be a little bit frustrated that we were going to be left short in midfield. But Manchester United have moved pretty quickly, very decisively, and we have signed Marcel Sabitzer. Fabrizio Romano giving it the famous 3 words. Let's dive straight into it. Fabrizio is actually live right now. Big up to Fabrizio Romano. When it comes to the famous 3 words, he nails it. When it happens, it happens. And I feel confident enough to speak to you about it in the comments. You let me know what you think about it. I'm going to run through the full story, run through everything that's happened with Sabitzer today, and all the other players we've been linked with as well, by the way. We're going to take a quick tactical look at how he fits in the team, what Ten Hag has been saying. It's going to be a cracking show. It's going to be an exciting show. So make sure you get involved in the comments and drop a like on the video if you can. Fabrizio giving it the here we go. Marcel Sabitzer to United is done. The full agreement has been reached on a loan deal. Now, the important part to take there, no buy option. That's something that we've had contrasting reports on throughout the day. Jason Burt from The Telegraph suggesting that there would be a buy option. And various different outlets also suggesting it was going to be the case as well. But according to Fabrizio Romano, there is no buy option, a straight 6-month loan until the end of the season. The deal is set to be signed with Bayern Munich in the final hours, as personal terms have already been agreed as well. And then, of course, you've got to get the Photoshop up, don't you? These are the rules of the game. Let me get that there, back on screen, and let's go over there. And there he is. There's a man himself looking like a bit of a hitman. There's Marcel Sabitzer. How excited are you? Right? You can let me know in the comments below. But from where we were, I think I'd said that over here. Is it? No, that's not it there. Where is it? Sod knows. I'll bring it up later on in the show. From where we were this morning, just after, we were thinking Christian Eriksen's going to be missing for how long? 3-4 months? We were like, nah. To this situation, it's almost like Manchester United actually are working towards a little bit of a plan. We've got Pedro there joining as a member. Klein, you're happy about it as well. No buy option. Gerrard, you're excited. RKO out of nowhere. That's funny. Not a starter for Bayern. Do we Rhino? He'll be a success? Don't know, but we might know he'll be a success. You could take the Paul Merson point of view if you really want to. He's not starting for Bayern. He must be a shit player. Well, in that sense, Paul Merson, I imagine you'll be really upset for the fact that Jorginho is going to be joining. Oh, no. You've actually said that Jorginho is an incredible signing. You pick and choose who you're pissed off about. I'm going to put Sabitzer quite close to the Weghorst category. A player who, if we had money, if we had time, we probably wouldn't be going after. But a player who nobody should be turning their nose up at. That is what I would say in the comments below. And I can't wait, hopefully, in a few months' time to be coming back to that video from Paul Merson where he tries to call out Sabitzer before he's even kicked the ball for United. And I would like to expose him for that bullshit comment. But look, let me quickly pull this up here. One sec. It's going to be a busy show here. I apologize if I miss any comments. Jay, you're there just being a dude, man. Dropping in 5 gifted memberships. Man, what a legend. Dale, did you see that? That was absolutely hilarious. I'm not sure if you've seen the interview that was on Sky Sports Germany. The reporter was outside explaining kind of who he was. And he's like, he can shoot like a horse. I didn't know horses could shoot so well. Shouldn't have said that. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing. We've got Simon Stoney from the BBC saying that Ten Hag, this is important here, that Ten Hag was not prepared to risk the progress of his team through lack of numbers. And he moved quickly. And this is a big thing because there would definitely be quite a few people in the comments down here that are saying, Sam, why you should be looking to youth. This is the time to bring Iqbal through, the time to bring Mainu through. And I know what you mean, But you can't compete in 4 competitions and be looking towards a 17-year-old breaking through and an 18-year-old who impressed in pre-season. That is not what you do when you're a top team. You blend youth with experience. And I think in Sabitzer, genuinely, I'll explain it a little bit. I've already recorded my how he fits in at Manchester United video. I didn't expect today to be so busy, but it really has been busy for all the right reasons. Interestingly, look at this. We're seeing reports from Sky Sports, Dharma Sheth, saying that Manchester United, look, we were offered Isco, Saul Niguez, Yannick Carrasco, and Houssem Aouar, which is a really interesting one, I think, who plays for Lyon now. Manchester United decided not to pursue any of those deals because it was Sabitzer who we were interested in. And this, for me, is, as I said, it's another signing like Weghorst, somebody who, from the outside looking in, non-United fans, lazy pundits in the media, they can look at it and go, "Oh, that's a panic signing. Oh, that's a desperate move from United. Oh, they're just signing a 6'6" striker who got relegated with Burnley. He's going to be shit. He's not going to fit it." Whereas in reality, Man United had done their homework. And Manchester United and Ten Hag knew that Weghorst kind of fit the profile. He's had 2 or 3, in fact, every performance I think he's played well, and he got his first goal against Forest. It's almost like we signed him for a specific set of reasons. And I would say the same thing here about Sabitzer. You could actually go down there and we could run through that list. Isco, man, that ship has sailed. Saul Niguez, that ship's definitely sailed. Yannick Carrasco is a right winger. And Houssem Aouar, well, that could be a conversation that you could have had. And I could understand that one. Not as much as I can understand this one, though. And I will, a little bit later in the show, make sure you stick around. This is going to be a cracking show tonight. I'm going to run through a little bit of a tactical comparison between him and Eriksen, a little teaser to my full video that's going to be going out later. But look, let's run through the full story. Game Zone. Anybody who's just joining in here, by the way, welcome aboard. This is the story now. We got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano, and yet it is just a loan deal. Now, that might annoy some of you, right? That I don't particularly see that as a reason to be annoyed. Man United are going to be going after big money midfielders in the summer transfer window. Now, it's only on a loan deal with no option to buy. That means, of course, that if he absolutely nails it in these 6 months, he goes back to Bayern Munich, a better player, and United might kind of feel a little bit shortchanged, well, however you want to call it. I wouldn't see it like that. You can if you want to, because that would pretty much be a very perfectly entitled way to think. And I don't mean entitled in the wrong way. But I just think we've got a cracking player here who ticks so many of the boxes that Christian Eriksen ticked. And also, he ticks some other boxes too. Man, Rakesh down there. Wow, look at that. Gifting 10, man. Woof. Honestly, all of you who keep doing this and keep gifting this community, you're the reason why I'm able to start bringing in people to help me and help this community and take it further. So big up to all of you. Pedro, hey, look, man. Eric Ten Hag could tell me, look, there's a pot of shit over there. I don't know. I ran out of things to say. Play that in midfield, and I guarantee you he'll be the right player. I'll be like, go on in there. I trust you. Yeah, whatever you say, I'm going to trust you right now. He's earned that respect from me. Right, there's more here. As I said, there's even more players we'll be linked with. Daichi Kamada from Eintracht Frankfurt, Isco, Saul Niguez. We thought it was going to be a quiet day today. It sounds like Manchester United were doing their work behind the scenes. And I actually said this in the podcast yesterday. I said it in my live stream this morning. We found out about the Eriksen story just before Erik Ten Hag's press conference, about 12:30. Man United would have known about this from yesterday, maybe even on Sunday. It's clear what we're seeing here because this has developed within a 5-6 hour period from nobody's talking about Sabitzer to him being on a plane to Manchester to us getting the here we go. United have done their groundwork. Behind the scenes, we're operating properly. And as I said, this is the first time that I can say this in a long old time. I think the Weghorst deal, you might still kind of turn your nose up at it. Don't think United were. And I think that's worked out. And it strikes me as this deal is absolutely going to fall in that same category. And that's what I said here as well. I said, look, it feels kind of strange watching United here. Hey, look, this January transfer window, we didn't know what to expect. I think this January transfer window, if I can remember correctly, I'll try and take myself back, right? We were linked with Cody Gakpo. We were linked with João Felix. Felix went to Chelsea. Gakpo went to Liverpool. we all felt like we were being left up shit creek without a paddle. Then we signed Weghorst, and we were like, what are we going after a striker from Besiktas for, from Burnley? And the more you looked into him, you're like, okay, I can understand it. I can understand the logic and the profile. And I think the same thing really does apply to Marcel Sabitzer. So we've got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. That's what we've been waiting for. He basically doesn't miss. When you get the here we go, that's it done. I'm going to go down here and read a few of your comments out. David, you're saying Tielemans would not have been a loan, would have been a purchase. I saw a separate report suggesting that Man United were actually inquiring about a permanent deal for Sabitzer. I don't know whether that was true or not. The right player in D, says Freaky. Man, as a ball man, really got great ideas for his team. He absolutely does. Eric Ten Hag knows what he's doing. Hey, look, Michael, exactly my point there. It's been a long old time since I've been able to talk about this from an operations perspective at our football club. There's still so much more needed. We need new owners. There will be new appointments at board level. But I think both of these deals, Bazzy, let me know where you're watching from. It's crazy down here in the comments. I'm going to try and answer as many of your questions as possible. But let's talk about the player himself and why. Next few minutes of the show, let me explain to you why I think you should be excited about Man United signing this player. Spence, you've just sent in a super chat. Let me read this out first. You're saying we dodged all those washed players and secured a decent loan deal. It's been done with ruthless efficiency on deadline day. It's very unlike United. It's almost like, what is this? I'm not used to this. I'm very much not used to this. But Sabitzer, I know I've got his name wrong. All right. I apologize. But Marcel, I can't get that wrong. The player that Eric Ten Hag hopes we have signed is this version. Now, I'm not saying that he was a bad player at Bayern Munich. Sorry, not Borussia Dortmund, because he wasn't a bad player. It's just that they are so, is it Goretzka they've got Kimmich. They've got so many players in midfield that Gravenberch can't even get a sniff in. And he was amazing at Ajax last season. He's played around about 40 games since joining from Leipzig, but it's his Leipzig days where he really, really earned his stripes. And before I quickly do jump into this, something that's very important about this whole deal is this part here. Man United agree in personal terms with Sabitzer earlier in the day. He is immediately accepted and he wants to work with Ten Hag. I've said this is so important. I've always said that's important. And he wanted it. And it moved through very quickly, didn't it? Within, I think the first links were from Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports Germany at around about 1:15, half past one, thereabouts. And here we are at 7 o'clock. So 5.5 hours from those first links to him being on a plane to Fabrizio Romano, giving it the here we go, sorry. That's decisive. That's decisive. Teresa, good comment down there on Facebook. You're saying, I love the way that these deals come as a surprise. It's how it should be. I like it when we get surprised like that. Another comment up there. Daniel, you're saying, sorry, is this a loan with an option to buy it? No. I'll repeat one more time for anybody who's just tuning in. What Fabrizio is saying is that it's going to be a straight loan option with no option to buy. All right. So Sabitzer is going to be a Manchester United player until the summer, and he's going to go back to Bayern Munich. Whether or not at that point Man United then try and buy him, it's irrelevant at this particular moment in time. But he will be here until the end of the season. And we needed bodies in. As Simon Stoney is explained here, Ten Hag wasn't willing to, at this moment in time, Casemiro and Fred are the only two fit central midfielders at our football club. McTominay's out with an injury. Eriksen's now out with an injury. We haven't got options. We haven't got many options. And this, whilst being a body and being just an extra midfielder, is a little bit more than that. And you know what's cheeky about it? Teresa, I think you mentioned it there. This is what Ten Hag said earlier. He's like, nah, you never know. In this moment, we're short for time before the window closes. It's not what we're aiming for. It can be some things come along. We have to consider that. But I'm not really proactive in the last day of the window. Whilst at the same time, Man United are out there signing Sabitzer. We're out there looking or being linked with Isco, Saul, Yannick Carrasco, Hosem Ouar, and also Daichi Kamada. I like it. Eric, keep lying to the media, my man. Keep lying to the media. That's what you want. That's what I like seeing. David, you're calling him clever down there. Absolutely. Fastest deal I've seen United. I tell you what, a fast deal I remember was Malacia during the summer. Remember when Leon agreed a deal for him? We were like, hell no. We went in there, usurped them. That deal was done very, very quickly. But it makes a big, big difference. Linton, you're saying, what injury does Scott have? We don't know at this particular moment in time, but I'm pretty sure Ten Hag said he was unavailable. And look, take off. It's nice. It's nice to see. Look, Tony, you put it down there as well. Look, I think someone else left a comment. There's a couple of players on that list. Isco, Sauniguez, over the hill. The sorts of signings where at this point, previously, Manchester United would randomly have gone out to sign. And that would have been like signing an Ighalo, a player just for the sake of the player. But just like Weghorst, and I was right about him, Sabitzer, you can see where he fits in. A couple of new members there. Let me give you some shout outs. Phil Richards and CJ Savage. How you doing there, buddy? But look, this is where you should get excited, all right? Let's have a quick look at some of the stats. Because Sabitzer, let's compare him to Christian Eriksen. This is why I think the profile, the shoe fits, right? What Manchester United needed to do somehow in a very short space of time, what, 11 hours we had, was find an alternative to Christian Eriksen, who was available on loan. We didn't have any money, who could do quite a few of the things that Christian Eriksen could do and would be happy to join. And in Sabitzer, we found that player. You can look here and you can compare the profiles. You can see where Christian Eriksen, let me try and pull this up here. You can see where Christian Eriksen's strengths are, right? Those down there. And you can see how also Sabitzer's got some of those strengths too. This is a big one for him, though. Look at that. Tackles. He's in the 92nd percentile for tackles in the final third. He's also, look at that, for shots on target, for shots in total, is in the 99th percentile. What a stat. This guy shoots. This guy has got some serious shooting boots, and he's definitely going to offer a real threat. Daniel, look, Ighalo did help to a certain degree, but Ighalo was not part of any. My point here is that Ighalo was not part of any plan at all. It was a case of we need a striker. Looked at where is he playing it? Yeah, go on in. Ighalo, you can come in. It wasn't part of any sort of plan. Whereas with Sabitzer here and the profile of him, this is an important thing because it is basically shaping all the transfers that we are making. And it's why I think we're starting to hit the bullseye a little bit more. We're starting to hit with our transfers. Because if you sign a player for a specific set of reasons to a profile to suit a style of play, that's where it can really work. Sigur Ross, a big up Sigur Ross, great band. Any deal for Noir, that's all a rumor. That's already been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. There's absolutely nothing with that. Days gone, mate. Once upon a time, speaking of days gone by, Sky Sports were the kings of deadline day. That is not the case anymore. You genuinely get more reliable news here and probably quicker as well. They are so slow. Jack, you're saying you think you can turn it into a permanent deal if we inquire about it in the summer. Look, let me see what you're saying down here. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's start a poll. Do you think he'll be a good signing? Will be a good signing. You just let me know, yes or no, right? We've got 3,000. Look at that, 3,000 of you watching on YouTube right now. There's only 400 of you who like the video. If you could, just slap a like on the video. It makes a big difference. I'd love to have you on board. But yeah, as you can see there, Sabitzer is not a player who's simply just been bought just to fill the numbers and fill the quota. From a profile perspective, he absolutely can do quite a lot of what Christian Eriksen can do. And I tell you what, there are some elements to his game which he actually has an advantage over Eriksen with. So if we'll probably just replace Williams over there with Sabitzer. Sorry, Williams. Don't hate me for that. Pull this up here. Let's head to the tactical board. Because we know full well exactly where he's going to slot into the team, right? This was my starting 11 prediction for the Forest game. It's going to be a very similar setup for Manchester United. Michael with a really good comment down there. It's exactly what I was saying earlier. He was a great player at Leipzig. Is this the one here? No, that's not the right one. Where is he? There he is there. That's the player that Ten Hag hopes that he signed. Hey, look, I'm not saying he's part of a plan. But what I'm saying is Manchester United, what we have seen here with signing Sabitzer, that's what happens when you have an overall vision and a strategy of a football club. You have an overall vision and a strategy of exactly what you want your football team to be. So that if situations like this arise, it makes it so much simpler and quicker for you to be able to go there Tracker Man, right? Tracker Man is what Manchester United are using to identify and profile transfer targets. Laurie Whitwell has already done a really in-depth and quite an interesting article on that. So what Man United have been able to do in this short space of time is use that, identify that Sabitzer, geez, I'm annihilating his name, Marcel, would be a good signing, and we've gone out and got him. That's what I mean about being smarter, having that overall long-term vision. So while he wasn't part of any plan, surprise to all of us, he fits the overall plan. And that's what happens when you hold on to a long-term vision and strategy at a football club. And that's the sort of thing that we haven't had, that connected thinking. So in situations like this, we would have reacted. We would have just gone out and signed Isco or Sauniguez just for the fact of it. And it wouldn't work out. And all of a sudden, you'd be like, that's a bit strange. A couple of super chats there. Let me not miss these. He has the legs of Fred and the feet of Ericsson. Freriksson? Erikhead? No, he's just Marcel Sabitzer. I just heard United are in for a while. Is that true or not? James covered that at the start of the video, my friend. That is currently false. That's not the case, okay? So don't worry don't get your hopes up about that, right? KD, you're saying, look, I'm buzzing about him. He's got an engine. Chelsea were in there. Yeah, Chelsea were looking at him. But Chelsea, are they getting Enzo Fernandez? No one really knows. There's someone down there who's mentioning a certain name, and that is something I really wanted to bring up. Ralph Ragnick. You know what I just said there about connected thinking, about long-term overall strategy and vision? Sabitzer is a player who came through the Leipzig system. He was that sort of Ragnick player. I believe he scored in Ragnick's first game as Austrian manager. He is the sort of signing that I think Ragnick would have loved to make at Manchester United if he was given a little bit of support in that January transfer window. He is exactly the sort of signing that you could, and that's why I always had that. I was excited about the idea of going from Ragnick to Ten Hag, because I could see the connected thinking, right? I could see the fact that a player that Ralph Ragnick signs probably would work under Erik Ten Hag as well, because there's quite a lot of similarities to those profiles. I don't know. What happened there with Ragnick? He wasn't a good manager, but he was never going to be a good manager. But it's a shame that basically Ten Hag and Manchester United sort of both decided that Ragnick shouldn't be there. But yeah, I think this is exactly the sort of signing that Ragnick would have loved to have made for Manchester United. Pronunciation's on point. Come on, the boys. Sabitzer. Barry, you're saying, has he made a bad signing yet? Nope. It will be quality. Simple as that. I like that optimism. And as I said, Erik Ten Hag has absolutely got my trust. And until he misses, he'll completely have my trust. And Weghorst, the way he started so far. But look, from a tactical perspective, it's quite simple where he fits in. He fits in exactly where Christian Eriksen drops out. Now, the interesting thing I think to be watching when he does make his debut for United is to see the shape of United's midfield. Because I imagine you're probably going to be seeing Bruno and Sabitzer operating more as the number 8s, with Casemiro operating more as the number 6. Now, at this moment in time, what we've seen with Casemiro this season is just how good he is bringing the ball forward. So good. One thing you can absolutely guarantee, right, with this midfield trio is a relentless work rate, right? Sabitzer is in the 92nd percentile for tackles. He's in the 97th percentile for tackles made in the opponent's final third. He is very, very good at winning the ball back high up the pitch. He has a relentless energy to his game. And that's a big, big thing. And if there's one, I would say, if I'm honest, that's one thing that Manchester United, we're doing it well, but we definitely need to be doing that more for Erik Ten Hag, is winning the ball higher up the pitch. That's a big fundamental of Erik Ten Hag's style of play, the way that he gets Ajax playing. And Sabitzer, he ticks that box. Him alongside Bruno with Casemiro, that really is a hard-working midfield. But it's not just about graft with him. He has goals in him too. Let me see if I can pull a couple of these up. I had these up earlier, but I forgot. Didn't put them in here. 1 second there. I'll get you some examples now, which are going to be in my video, which is going to be going out quite soon, on how Manchester United set up with him. But let me get you some examples of his passing range. I'll give you a little teaser. Couple of good examples here, right? Should have prepared this beforehand, but you know, it's a bit of a busy night. Where is it? Right. Let me get one of these on here for you. Give me 2 seconds. It's what happens when you don't have somebody organising all this for you. You've got to do it yourself. But look, not only has he got that work ethic, that engine, that relentless energy, the guy also, seriously, has got a passing range on him. And I think this is something that you should be quite excited about. Here's an example here of back in his time at Leipzig. Here is where he receives the ball. You can see that pass there. He receives it on his right foot, one touch into that space, and he finds that ball in behind. Good execution, good vision to do it. Here's another example here. Receiving the ball, I think that's Timo Werner. He has the vision and the capability of firing that ball into that area, and I believe that Timo Werner scored off the back of that. Invest Talks, dude, if I started playing any videos, this channel wouldn't exist. Copyright is so hot on anything like this. The only thing we can really do is use photos. But there are two examples right there, and this is what I mean. We haven't just signed this player just for the sake of signing this player, right? There's a lot of similarities to the profile of Eriksen and Sabitzer. And also, if you're looking at his passing range, he's got a passing range. He can find balls in behind, and he scores bangers. He scores rockets. He really is good at a set piece as well. Honestly, there are genuinely elements to his game in which he's actually better than Christian Eriksen. I'm not saying this for a reason to criticize Christian Eriksen. I'm not, but it's just the truth. Eriksen tires towards the last 25 minutes of games. He has done quite a few times, but we know that. And that's why we've always tried to sort of bring him in and out of the team, try and replace him and avoid that part. That will not happen with Sabitzer. He is relentless. He almost has a little bit of the passing range of an Eriksen type player, but also the sort of the physical capability of more someone like Park Ji-sung. He'll keep going for the full 90 minutes. And that will mean that United won't be dropping off. And it's been a bit of a problem. Look, we dropped off against Crystal Palace and we conceded a late goal. We couldn't contain the pressure from Arsenal because we needed more energy in midfield. These are things where I think Sabitzer comes in and actually helps. Hey, look, I'm going to go up here. Someone's accusing me of missing a super chat. If I have Navur down there, what you're saying? Players coming to Man United now, the future is up. The future is looking better, my friend. I apologize. I don't ever ignore super chats. But honestly, if you saw how many conversations are flying in, comments are flying in, you don't understand. Vicky, thank you. How you doing? Look how quick United can work when they need to. Here's £10 for a bottle of beer. That's a big old bottle of beer. I'm looking forward to opening that bad boy. It is weird. I think I put it. Where did I put it? There. It's weird. It's odd watching United actually operating how we should be operating, moving swiftly, moving decisively. But honestly, this is all tied up into the fact that Erik ten Hag is our manager. He started to connect the thinking behind the scenes. Everybody's working on the same wavelength. And when the Glazers are gone and new owners are in, and they're on the same wavelength as Erik ten Hag, it's going to be a problem for everyone else. Instead of us sniffing out smart, cheap deals like this, we can go out and get the best players that are also smart signings too. We've got another warrior in the squad, says Armand. Hey, look, man. Spence, I should be getting the tins in. I'll get him in quite soon. Tardy is saying Eriksen's done great since he's signed, but he was never meant to be that. I've said that quite a few times. Eriksen was always signed to be Frankie de Jong's alternative, for them two to dovetail each other, to be used in and out. But instead, Eriksen's been playing, I think there's only 2 Premier League games in that started this season. No wonder he's tired. And no wonder he tires in games. Bespoke, you're saying, Sam, can we sign free agents after the window closes? It doesn't really matter. We're not signing anybody else. Derek, you let me know where you're watching from, buddy. But for anybody else joining in, right? Let me quickly run through the full story for you. And last couple of minutes of the show, I will answer any questions that you fire in about him or about the whole story. But Fabrizio Romano has given us the here we go, right? Sabitzer to United, here we go. Full agreement has been reached on a loan deal, no buy option. And that really is an important part that quite a lot of you have been asking for. Are Man United going to have it in? There's no obligation to buy. There's no option to buy. All right. It's just on a straight 6-month loan. It doesn't mean that we can't sign him at the end of it, but there's no option or obligation built into the contract. It's just a straight loan deal. Malcolm, mate, thank you very much. That's not going to be going on me. That's going to be going straight back into the community, man. I tell you, I can't wait to take this onwards and upwards, and you're all helping me do it. It's cool. The platform of YouTube for fan channels has never been a problem. I think it was how it represented football clubs, how it represented their clubs. And I hope that's something that you feel we're doing properly here on United People's TV. It's been important to me that. Phil, you're saying the Phoenix is rising. Players want to play for Ten Hag. You do a great job. I've watched for a while, so I'm on the bandwagon. Mate, join that bandwagon. Indeed. It's nice to get excited about your football club, isn't it? After quite a long time of thinking we're a bit of a joke, it's not going to be a joke anymore. And as I said there about the tactics, I can't see a midfield of Casemiro, Bruno, and Sabitzer getting outworked by anybody, really. That won't happen. There's going to be too much energy there, too much quality there. Will he settle in straight away? Well, that we won't know until he comes in. But I tell you what, Weghorst is. I've been that's probably the thing I've been more impressed with Weghorst is how quickly he settled, how quickly he played in that system and did it quite well. Let's fingers crossed, we're going to see the same thing with this dude. But given that, I just trust Ten Hag. I do. Maybe it's blind trust, maybe it's naive. You can say what you want in the comments, but until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to continue doing that. Mate, down there, wow, look at that, Derek. Amazing, man. You just gifted 20 memberships. It is gifts galore down here. Christian, you've got one. Joey, Joey got one. Big up, Joey. How you doing, man? Junior Gong. Who've got Mike B, Kue, Melvin. That's hilarious. But look, man, I'm excited about this signing, right? I'm not going to say that it's going to be a game-changing signing, but our season, had we not made this signing, right, we would have been going in to this part of the season now after this transfer window closes with Casemiro, Fred, and McTominay as our central midfielders because Christian Eriksen's injured. That, simply put, is not enough. Not enough physically, not enough quality-wise either in getting Manchester United through these competitions we are in. Sabitzer coming in at least gives us more resilience. Erik Ten Hag, as Simon Stone said here, Erik Ten Hag was not willing to basically risk the progress that we've done this season on just sitting there resting on his laurels. And I'll tell you what, at least United have actually followed through and given Ten Hag something. It might not be a signing, as I said, that transforms this team, but given how much of an impact Weghorst has had in such a short space of time, I hope that Sabitzer can do the same thing in midfield. There's a couple of super chats here. Let me not miss these. Dean, mate, as I said, any super chats you're sending in, people, I'm going to be reinvesting all of this back into the channel. That's why I'm bringing on a new social media producer to help with the videos, a new designer to help with the designs. You're helping this community go onwards and upwards. So big up to all of you. CJ, you're saying, not sure if it's me. I'd like him to have a mediocre 6 months. So just when we buy him in the summer, don't try rinsing us. Hell no. I want him to absolutely crush it. And what I would say about, I think there's a couple of members who've joined there. Shantanu, you've joined, and Malcolm, you've joined as well. Big up to both of you. Mate, wow, what a busy stream. It's almost like we've just been pleasantly surprised, haven't we, by what United have done today. When that Christian Eriksen news came out, you would have seen my video earlier. I was kind of running through the options that we might have had. I was going to prepare a video tomorrow on how we could cope without Eriksen and the sort of the signing, not the signings, but the setups that we could have had. Instead, we're here talking about Fabrizio Romano giving it the here we go on Sabitzer. We're now speaking about how good he could be for Manchester United. I'm excited for it. And it's good to, as I said, it's good to see that Ten Hag's actually been given something. Because I tell you what, United last year wouldn't have done that. Matthew saying amazing addition to United. Shame for Eriksen. I'll tell you what, Matt. That's it. That is the one shame I would say about it. It's a shame that this is only a conversation that existed on the 31st of January. If he was available on loan the whole time, that should have been something that Manchester United were doing this whole time in January. It shouldn't have taken basically a season-ending injury to Christian Eriksen for us to pull the finger out and go for Sabitzer if he was available that whole time. But look, I'm not going to get too annoyed about that. It's a shame, isn't it? Either way, I don't care. Jason, you're saying I've got a great feeling for these loans of late. Maybe a great permanent decisions later. Eriksen needs to be rested more during any season. Look, this should be the only season where we see Eriksen overworked in the way he is. Eriksen can be a fantastic player for Manchester United for the next few years. Of that, I'm absolutely confident. But we cannot be playing Christian Eriksen week in, week out for 90 minutes every time. That played no role in. By the way, anybody, let me quickly go full screen to say this. Anybody even suggesting that Erik ten Hag should have rested Christian Eriksen against Reading, he's the reason. Mate, it was just an assault. Like, Andy Carroll clearly realised he was shit, clearly realised he couldn't catch anybody, and just went out trying to hurt people. He could have got sent off twice in that game. And you can't really, as a manager, you can't predict for any situations like that. That was just an impact horror tackle. It had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Eriksen was being overplayed. And he was being overplayed. But can you blame Ten Hag? He had nobody else. Now we've got somebody. Look, Navtej, I can see you down there. You're not the only person to mention this in the stream. Fabrizio Romano has already done that. We're not going to be signing anybody else past Sabitzer. If we do, I'll have egg on my face. I'll absolutely love the fact that I got egg on my face if we actually do sign someone up. I don't think we will. Half, you're saying I think I speak for the whole United squad when I say thank Eric. We signed some players this window. Hey man, if we had not signed the short-term deals that we have, right? Weghorst, he's probably not going to be here past the end of the season. But as I've said before he kicked a ball, I said if he earns that contract, he'll be here next season as part of this squad. Now Sabitzer, maybe that's a different situation because Bayern Munich might be happy that he has a crack in 6 months and then bring him back into their squad and then keep him there. That we don't know. But at the very, very least, Ten Hag has been supported by United in this situation. I called it a shit sandwich earlier. I said United are in a situation where we've got Eriksen out for the season. You've got a set of owners who are looking in the other direction because they're trying to sell the club. What are you going to do here? We found probably one of the best case scenarios that we probably could have found in this situation. And as I said, it all links back to that linked up thinking, which is all coming from Erik ten Hag. Man, he's taken this club somewhere it hasn't been for a long, long time. Alan, you're saying it's giving you confidence for the rest of the season. If we had not signed him, as I said, we would have been going into the rest of the season with Casemiro, Eriksen, and Fred as our only midfielders, senior midfielders who are fit currently. Add McTominay in there when he comes back from whatever injury he's got. Of course, you can add Iqbal and Mainu in there, but that's wafer thin. He had some experience and some quality and some goals and some intensity in there. King Crazy Me is saying, hi, Sam, big fan of the channel. Cheers, dude. It's been great. It's great to see us get an alternate for Eriksen, and Ten Hag has to be the best manager we've had post-Fergie. Mate, it's just good to see everything operating as it should as a football club. This is what big clubs do. If shit hits the fan, there's a plan in place. Right, execute X plan. Good. And that feels like what United have done today. You might say it's just a panic, last-minute move. But given that it, and as I said, I know I'm repeating myself now, but there's so many of you watching. I'm just enjoying the conversation. The profile fits, the shoe fits. I put that in a similar way to how Weghorst fits up front. Sabitzer can drop into that midfield. Now, we may well find that we don't create as much through the middle anymore, but I wouldn't say that's fair. We can really progress the ball through midfield. There's going to be a lot more movement, I would say, with Sabitzer. With Eriksen, he's quite static. Eriksen, typically, I'm going to be interested to see this, right? This is a tactical thing you should be looking at. Let me go to the board and explain what I mean. What you've seen from Manchester United in the build-up play a lot this season is, ignore the actual names of the players here, but you've been seeing the fullbacks going forward and overlapping when Man United are in possession. And sometimes you've been seeing them cut inside as well. Inverted fullbacks, classic. What you've also seen is that the two centre-backs move across. And this is typically, right, let me take him out of the team here, just for this moment in time. This has typically been Eriksen. Eriksen's dropped there. And Man United have operated in this sort of, what is it, 3, and then I think Matasia's dropped in there. It's all been a bit crazy. But Man United have always had Eriksen dropping back alongside the two centre-backs. I'll be interested to know what happens now. Because if Sabitzer comes into this team, is it going to be him who drops down? Or is it going to be Casemiro? My gut instinct is we're probably going to see Casemiro there more than we're going to see Sabitzer. And then Sabitzer would probably operate more where Casemiro was. And I think we're going to be seeing him, Casemiro, drop deep and sort of take on a little bit more of the responsibility of progressing the ball out of defence. Ignore the actual craziness of the overlapping fullbacks here. This formation's also all over the shop. But in possession, Manchester United always have, when it works, always have that person who drops from midfield. Previously, that was Eriksen. I'll be interested to find out whether that's going to be Casemiro moving forward or whether that is going to be Sabitzer. Let me go over here. I'm going to head back to the comments in a second. Let me just sort this formation out because it was all over the shop. I think there was a Alex. I personally agree with you. I think it's more likely to be him. I think you're more likely to see Sabitzer being the man who brings that ball forward rather than receives the ball off his defense. I feel like that's kind of more suited to Casemiro. And Sabitzer is a very good ball progressor. He really, really is. He's good at bringing the ball forward. He's good at receiving the ball in forward positions. There was a, look at that, super sticker, mate, Matt. Everyone's generosity is just outrageous, man. And as I keep saying, it's all going back into the channel. It's all making this community bigger and better. So make sure you smash a like on it. How many are we on now? Let's have a look. Wow, we've got over 4,000 of you watching this moment in time with just over 1,000 likes. It's almost like everyone's happy at signing a player like Sabitzer. I am, man. From where we were this morning, right? And Rich, absolutely. Let's not forget that. He's got a howitzer of a finish on him, which is that clearly is going to be used in a newspaper at some point. Sabitzer with a howitzer. That's definitely going to, if he scores a banger, that's going to be on the back page of the Daily Mail probably. But yeah, he's very versatile. He plays across all the roles. As I've explained there, it'll be interesting to see how he fits in. But oh, man, from where we were this morning to where we are now, that is a substantial change in mindset, in sort of how we're looking at the rest of this season. And it goes to show the impact that a good signing can have. Now, we can't say he's a good signing yet. He hasn't kicked the ball. But I certainly like the profile of him. I certainly like the idea of Ten Hag wanting him. And if Ten Hag wants him, then I want him too. Phil, fan of 45 years, you're saying the future looks good. I wanted Ten Hag from day one. A fellow Southerner in Stretford. How you doing, Phil? I wanted Ten Hag. I remember when I did that video a long old time ago about wanting Ralph Ragnick and then the progression to Ten Hag. And that's exactly what's happened. I didn't expect the Ragnick situation to unfold in the way it did. I'll be completely honest. That was a part of shit. I didn't like how it ended up. Let's move on from that. Best signing in a decade. What are we looking at? Are you talking about Erik Ten Hag? I think you're talking about Erik Ten Hag. I think he's a very good fit into the team. Kieran, I'm going to wrap this up quite soon because I might do a video later on when the official announcement is out. He does shoot like a horse. Hey, look, everyone wants to look at United and try and say, oh, look, they're making panic signings. They're still a club. Oh, they're shit. Quietly, internally, United fans, we're all looking at how our club is being run, how our club is being managed, and we're quietly nodding. Bit by bit, the progression is happening. We're the only team left in 4 competitions. We're in the League Cup semi-final. We're in the FA Cup 5th round. We're easily inside the top 4 currently with a cushion behind us. We've got a double header coming up against Barcelona. And Sabitzer, for me, that's a good signing. Real C, say it quietly, you know that's the truth. And I tell you what, if this is what Ten Hag can do in transfer windows when Manchester United have got literally no money. They've opened the wallet and go, oh, there's nothing in there. What could he do with owners who genuinely back him with the ambition of winning the Champions League, with the ambition of winning the Premier League? It's never been the ambition of the Glazers. They went big in the summer because they were trying to protect the value of their asset they're trying to sell. But let's find out what goes on next. But I'll tell you what, the rest of this season looks better with this man in, I think. Certainly from how it looked this morning when Eriksen was out for a few months. But I'm going to wrap this up now. I don't want to waffle too much. What a live stream, man. That was amazing. Nearly 1,300 of you have dropped a like on the video. Over 4,000 watching. That's brilliant. If you'd like to become part of the community, please do subscribe. I'm here Monday to Friday, 10 a.m., bringing you all the latest news. Tomorrow mornings will be a good one. United are playing tomorrow night. Games every 3 days. I expected it to be quiet today, but it hasn't. We've got a man in, and I tell you what, Ten Hag got it right with Weghorst. He's got it right with all his signings so far. I think he's going to get it right with this one too. Thank you all for joining in. Have a good evening.